Hey, everybody. Get used to that voice today because I've got a pretty bad cough. So I may not be doing too much talking today, but I will be answering questions in the chat box. Everybody say hello if you can hear me. Kat, how you doing? Mark from Utah. And he's sexy and he knows it. Ronald, Greg, Darren, Simi, Natalie, Gregory. Boy, I can't read all the names today, guys. It's going by so fast, and I know I'm gonna cough it up here in just a minute. So please forgive me. I do apologize. I felt this little baby cough coming on yesterday, and I don't know. It's getting worse throughout the day here. Hello, everybody. Robert, Joe, Gordon, Greg. See if tequila, Bob says, cures the cough. May have to get me some. Big ups from the UK. How you doing, John? Greg, that's funny. Don't read my name unless you want to slaughter it. Yeah, that one is a little bit tough. You're going to have to enunciate it for me like they do there on Facebook. Oh, Dominique says I sound more like you, Herc. The deep voice.
That's my after a night out voice.
Yeah, didn't go out, no. But
that's your Vegas voice.
That's pretty bad there.
All right. How you doing, Barry? Can you make the screen bigger? It does look a little small, Herc. Yeah, Ian, it may be your bandwidth there. I don't know.
Ian Middleton.
Middleton there, he has his audio's dropping a little bit, but I think everybody else seems to hear me okay.
There seems to be a weird cough on the line or something like that.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, there it is again.
I think it's a squirrel on the line. Okay, guys, we'll get this started at exactly 7 minutes past the hour. Unfortunately, Jason is traveling today, so Jason won't be with us, but that's cool. You got Herc, I know you just heard, and Steven, you could hear as well, so I guess I'll let Steven and Jason take it away, and I'm going to be quietly on mute, coughing in the background, and answering as many questions as I can. All right, guys, take it away.
It's going to be a pretty simple format today, guys. We're going to do basic Q&A. We don't have any presentations, nothing that we really need to cover. Typically, when we do have a presentation or something to cover, it's because we see kind of a lot of questions about a specific issue, and we know that we should cover it. But it seems like lately things have calmed down a lot more. People are having more successes than ever. People are ranking sites better, building better, understanding better. So we don't actually have anything specific to cover today, so what we're going to just do is make it a general Q&A style training webinar. We can do some site reviews if you guys want. So let's just get it started, guys. Just go ahead and fire up your questions, and we'll start going. Catherine in V3, that's not possible right now. That's the only package we get. She asked if how could you purchase more credits in the rank tracker. So number one, there's a multitude of places you can go to get rank tracking. Okay, obviously Project Supremacy V3 has, if you guys got a hold of that, it has 1,500 keyword package. It's now down to 800. We did tell you guys that that initial offering was going to go down, and it did. But you can get them at Pro Rank Tracker. In the group, people have been sharing all kinds of different rank tracking, so you can use that. But I also think, Catherine, you should watch the webinar on how and why to be more efficient with your keywords. You do not want to be tracking 1,500 keywords for 2 sites and just leave them on there. That's something that you would do as a sales tactic. You would track, like, 700-800 keywords as a sales tactic. Either screenshot those keywords so that when you're in sales, you can show people that you're ranking for that many things, or once you sell the site, back off the tracking to just the most important keywords that you really want to go after. Karen, she's brand new to keywords and tags, watching the tutorial, and you're confused, decided that the best way would be to start with garage doors openers. Would really appreciate some tips about the best keywords. Karen, so what I do, here's a free method. AdWords Keyword Planner. Okay. I'll have to sign in here. So you are in doing garage doors and openers. Okay, so once you signed into AdWords Planner, you go to Keyword Planner. Pete, yes, it should. We just, Stephen, just so you know, we just sent that mail out about Moto theme because it's a killer theme with a bunch of local layouts. All right, so if you're doing like garage door openers, and I don't know if you're like doing like, because when you say garage doors and openers, are you selling the garage doors? Are you selling the repair services? Stuff like that. I'm not really sure, Karen, which one you're talking about. But let's just assume it was garage door repair. You could just literally go into the Keyword Planner, and I'll do this again. This is actually covered on another training webinar. But here's what I basically do. Okay, we're going to turn on some filters here. I want a suggested bid minimum of 50 cents, okay, and I want my competition to be high or medium, not low. I want to get rid of all the keywords that do not have a low, that do have a low competition and have less than 50. Yeah, actually, we can even set this to $1. Okay, just to make sure. And for those who don't know what these are, this is how much people on average have to pay to run an AdWords ad for garage door repair on Google. Okay. So if we go to Google and we type in garage door repair, all right, these highlighted ones, okay, these are all ads. Obviously, the first 4 spots are ads, and these guys are all paying money per click. Every time someone clicks on their ad, they pay for it. So if they are targeting this keyword, they're paying on average $37 per click. Okay. Now, when I put in the filters, I say I don't want to see any keywords where people are paying less than $1 per click. And then what the competition metrics are, high and medium, meaning how many people are competing for those keywords. So for instance, garage doors is high. All these ones that you see are high. That means a lot of people are competing for these keywords. This doesn't mean how easy or hard is it to rank. It's got nothing to do with that. It's the competition of the AdWords competition. How many people are competing for this keyword? High is good. Why is high good? Because it means it's a high demand keyword. It means people are paying a lot of people are paying a lot of money for it. So that's good, right? So once we set those filters, okay, $1 and high and medium, and we save that. Okay, so now we're into garage door repair. You can have keywords to include, okay, so like for instance, maybe you want to make sure it has repair in it. You can put in the word repair, and then all the keywords have to have repair in it. So obviously that's not a good one. Or you could say garage, okay, to get away from like, you don't want to get too far away from garages. Obviously those aren't working out, so I think it's pretty targeted the way it is with garage door repair. Okay, so then what you can do is scroll down here, and you can see they give us a list of 700 keywords. So what you do, download your keywords, in Excel CSV formatting. Okay, save that file, and it opens up in the bottom here. And then these are tab delimited, so I deselect comma and select tab, and you can see the little, see what happens, the difference here, guys? When I select comma, it's all kind of gobbledygook, and when I unselect it and choose tab, now it's organized. So make sure you're looking at this little preview window so that you're delimiting by the right thing. And then I'll get rid of a couple of groups here. Okay, I'll get rid of that, I'll get rid of that. Okay, and then I kind of change these. This is volume, like search volume. This is comp. And this is CPC. And those are the only metrics I'm really, truly interested in for garage door repair keywords, right? So get rid of the rest of this shit too. Now, what we want to do is I should have done one other thing in my filter, to be honest. We can do these negative keywords. I usually put in like keywords like free, because if someone has free in there, it's like a bunk keyword. Cost. I mean, maybe cost isn't a good one. I keep second guessing myself on this one, because if someone's looking for garage door repair cost, that means they are in the market. So maybe that's not a good one to disinclude. But usually I've been disincluding it. But like free is a good one. So that's just another negative keyword that you can add to remove any keyword that has the word free in it. But for now, typically what I'll do, okay, is I'll actually go through the list of keywords and kind of scan it for, I don't know, see, I do all my editing. I'm really weird about stuff. I'll scan it for anything that's location specific or brand name specific, meaning like if there's like this precision garage door is like a brand, so I'd want to get rid of that. So I would just scan the list kind of really quick and get rid of all the stuff that has locations in it. So if I saw Edmonton or Phoenix, I want to get rid of that, because my SERPtech, the SERPtech build is going to take care of locations for you. So you don't want to have like something like garage spring repair Edmonton and then add in Edmonton, because it would just look really stupid, right? So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to organize it by competition. Okay. So these are the most competitive keywords. So 1 means, you know, most competitive, and then here we're down into the 3. So really I want to get rid of a lot of keywords, right? Because we only want to target maybe, you know, 20, 25 keywords. We only want to have another additional 15, 20 tags, and then maybe 50 to 75 for the image alt tags. So I'm going to get rid of a lot of stuff. So I can take my competition all the way down, like even anything under 90, I can get rid of it, right? So I'll just delete all that. And then I'm left with, I still have 472 keywords. All right, so now let's organize by CPC. Okay, so now we're left with competition stuff. So now I'll organize by cost per click. And let's see, we're still at over $10 with 100 keywords. So maybe we'll go to 150 keywords and we'll get everything that's over $7.22. And this is just really quick keyword research, guys. This is just one way that I do it really super fast. All right, now we're left with a list of 150 keywords that are all extremely high competition, and these have the highest CPCs to them. Okay, so we're good here and we're good here. These 2 rows are now good. We know that that's all good stuff. So now what do? Organize by volume. And then of course Google has their, you know, weird little ranges now. So we know that these 2 are the highest. So you might want to do this part manually. It's not too hard. Just bring those down. We'll pop those back in. And then these 10 to 100,000, we'll get rid of those. Okay, and pop those back in. All right, so what are the top 25 keywords that you're going after when considering volume, high bids, high amount of bids, and high cost? There you go. There's your 25 main keywords that you could be targeting. Okay, what are the next most important keywords that you want for tags? Take about 20. There you go. And what are the other ones that you want to use for your pictures and stuff like that? There you go. So that's kind of how I do really fast, really easy keyword research. Let me scroll back up to the questions here. Craig, I'm still confused about the indexer and how big my sitemap should be. Your sitemap should be 5%, around 5% of the total available URLs that you have. Okay, so when you go to do your indexers, okay, when you get to that first, I'd have to clear this one, but when you get to that, oh no, I don't. You can see right here, right? You have 1,550 tags, 5 pages, and 60 posts. Well, if you just want to do quick math, right? 1,550 plus 5 plus 60. That's 1,600 available URLs. 5% of that is around 80. So you'd want to make your sitemap size between 80 and 100, or 80 and 120. The more you put in, the more aggressive you get. I've been going kind of low. I've been kind of going around 5 to 10% range. But the way I've been doing it is based on adding all these numbers up and then doing about 5% of it. 5 to 10%. Can you explain the difference between overlay and overlay plus page? Overlay is simply an overlay. Okay. Well, it's my Bitcoin site. Well, actually, I was on one there. Okay. So overlay means it grabs the site and it overlays whatever site you've set to overlay. Overlay plus actually grabs, stores it in a cache on distribution networks, and then when they're visiting the site, they're not visiting a framed version, an overlaid version. They're actually visiting the code, the code. So it's a lot safer with overlay plus.
Seems you're dropping out a little bit, Herc. Is that possible?
We have a question. Posting stats has a plugin which gives the state and city of this. Is it possible to install this plugin on supremacy servers? If it's a plugin, I am. Sorry, can you say that again? Can you guys hear me? Give me a 1.
Yeah, it's better now. don't do ones. Don't do ones. It's better now. A minute ago you were dropping off just a little bit, Herc. But I think you're back.
Yeah, I have pretty bad weather here right now, so I'm not sure what's going on. Eric, any tools other than Rank Tracker to get the volume for all your generated long tail variations so you know which ones to actually track later? There's probably keyword research tools out there that you can submit a list of keywords and they'll give you the search metrics for that specific list. That's not actually a feature of keyword supremacy, but maybe we should make it one because it's pretty good. Can't you do that for a list?
Can't you do that with AdWords? I remember you used to. You could, but I haven't done it in a long time. But you might.
Well, AdWords gives ranges now, like 100 to 1,000, 1,000 to 10,000, shit like that.
Well, it might be an option.
Yeah, I mean, if to me, I don't care if a keyword has 100 searches a month or 800 searches a month. To me, that's like whatever. It doesn't matter. None of those numbers were ever accurate, anyways. So to me, the range is fine. It never bothered me when Google switched to that range. You know, like, and the range is like 0 to 10, 10 to 100, 100 to 1,000, 1,000 to 10,000, 10,000 to 100,000, 100,000 to a million up. As long as it falls within a range I'm happy with, I'm good to go. I don't care. So yeah, in that regard, you can submit a list of keywords to the Google Keyword Planner, and then just get these ranges to find out what your traffic volumes are. Okay, as what Stephen and Todd too, I do see you guys answering a lot of questions, but if you see a good one that you think everybody should, because I don't know whether I should answer the ones you guys are answering, but this is like beneficial for everyone to hear the answers, right? So if you see something that's good, let me know. It might be a support question. Yeah, that's a support question, Sebastian.
I still see some overlay plus questions because that was just the moment you were cutting out. All right, guys. So the difference between overlay and overlay plus, if you're not technical and it's not very interesting to you, just use overlay. The overlay plus has a few technical changes, but it basically it always ends in this exact same result. If you're paranoid and you're really into SEO and you're afraid that Google's going to slap your ass, you can use Google Overlay Plus. But honestly, it's not necessary. It's just for paranoid people and in very few situations where if you get into trouble with X-frame options, if you haven't run into this, then don't worry about it. If you do run into it, you can switch to Overlay Plus. So that's just the main idea for most of you folks. If you want to get real technical, there's actually an explanation inside of the group. So just go and search for it in there. It's written, I written down there, so you can read it over and you can get all the technical details. I don't think getting into the real technical details is useful in this in a training webinar, to be honest. Are you still there, Herc?
I was muted. Sorry.
Okay. I thought we lost you there for a minute.
No. Okay, James, you said your question is you only have 4 build attempts, and each time when you get to the indexer, it says you only have 4 pages. When you go back to your your CSVs are gone. Is this a CSV problem, or do I need to save build for later before I move on? Sounds like there's a problem with your CSV, James. First of all, it wouldn't say you have. If you've only had 4 pages, here's what your CSV would look like. Okay, if you built and you only had, oops, wrong one. If you only had 4 pages, okay, you'd have something like this: state 1, state 2, state 3, and state 4. This would be the complete CSV file that you uploaded right here. This would build 4 pages and nothing else. Okay, so I'd look at your CSV and see what's going on there. Go into the group as well and do a search in the Facebook group. Okay, and do a search for CSV as well to get more tips on. You're probably not formatting your CSV probably, or formatting it properly or something. Okay, just go to the search function and search for CSV, and you're going to get a bunch of CSV questions that have all been asked and answered. Are you still flipping keywords for tags on your builds? It's whatever you want, Dominic. Like if you want to you know, if you'd rather rank for your keywords than your tags. Here, let me kind of cover this illustrative wise to show people why this is what's even going on here. Let's do that I chose for this particular site. See what happens when you don't have Unicode. UTF-8. There you go. So here's my main keywords for photography site that I was doing on a lot of webinars. And then remember, it would be like I could either choose keyword location or location keyword for my main long tail, so bar mitzvah photographer in Toronto or Toronto bar mitzvah photographer. And then what I used for my tags, we'll open those up. Okay, was these extra ones, which weren't my main keywords. But some people, what they don't like is the fact that, let's say these 26 keywords were my main keywords and I was targeting 50 locations. Okay, if I had a site with 50, basically 50 posts or 50 locations, doesn't matter how many categories, just 50 locations. When you use the short code keyword from SERPtech, okay, it's gonna randomly grab one of these and supply it for each post. So if you have 50 locations in your locations file, you're going to get 50 posts, okay, and it's going to use one keyword per post at random from here. Now, some people, what they'd rather have is, you know, 50 locations, and which means 50 posts, but they want this keyword in all 50 posts and this keyword in all 50 posts and then this keyword in all 50 posts, and posts are locations, right? Same thing. So they want to show up for, like, so say the town that they were targeting was like Tempe, Arizona. They want bar mitzvah photographer Tempe, bar mitzvah photography Tempe, event photographer Tempe. They want all these keywords to show up in Tempe, and in the traditional build, your keywords don't multiply out like that, but your tags do. Okay, so your tag list, if we look at a SERPtech site, okay, so if I go into Woodley bar mitzvah photography, of course I have it overlaid. Let me just go shut that off for a second. What one was that? That was Faz Shoots. Okay, we'll just get rid of that for now. Okay, so kind of what I was saying is, like, your URL and your title is targeting location and then a random keyword, bar mitzvah photography, but your tags, they take every tag and apply it to every location for Woodley, and then on the next page or on the next location, you know, it would take every tag and put it to the next location, and then on the next location it would take every tag and put it on the next location. So what you end up with is a URL, okay, under your tag category, you end up with a URL and a keyword for every location. So what some people have been doing is, since they want to rank for every keyword in every location, they're now making their tags keyword list, they're swapping them, because the tag URLs are ranking really well. Plus, you get every keyword in every location because of this little sidebar stuff. Like if I go over to Yapel Park now, I'm in Woodley at first. Now I go to Yapel Park. Once again, every keyword's corporate photography, family photography, I have a URL for it because of tags. So you can do that. You can switch it around. You can make your keywords list your tags list, so that they show up everywhere, and then make what your tags list was, make it your new keyword list. And that's totally fine to do as well. Antoine, you have someone in the timeshare business that wants leads. How do I set up SERPtech without geo-targeting? Well, I don't know why you would. Where do they want to buy timeshares? I think it's not a matter of where do they want leads from? There's more information, I guess, needed there. Do they want to sell certain timeshares in certain locations, or do they want to sell every timeshare in every location? Not quite sure the full picture of what you're asking there, but I mean, I used to sell timeshares too, and I mean, having a location to sell timeshares in, I would definitely want that. A customer is looking for owners that want to sell or rent their timeshares, then I would get a list of the locations that those timeshares are in and make that your locations. Leslie, a little slow getting up to speed here. You have an unlimited agency version of Project Supremacy and just got SERPtech and Local. But wondering, do I use Project Supremacy with it now that there is a little PS3 a little confused? Okay, Leslie, Project Supremacy is an SEO plugin. So if you want to use it, you can. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to. You can use a different one. Whether you have PSV2 or PSV3 doesn't matter. We have training videos in the members area that show you how to set up for both. So if you want to learn how to control the SEO using V2 or V3, here's your two videos, PSV2 SEO settings or PSV3 SEO settings. Is there a way to index specific URLs if you want to rank most for one city or town? You can index specific URLs, but yeah, I don't see why you would want to do that, Catherine. Like, I understand you're saying I want to rank or I want to index specific URLs so that I can rank for them. What you can do is after your build, you can export a list of URLs right here. Okay, so export all your posts or pages. Then you'd have to clean that up to get the list of URLs for the locations that you want. Then in your indexer, okay, when you go to build the sitemap, there's one that says external URLs. You can pop that list into there, or foreign, it says foreign URLs actually. You could pop that list into there, and then you're specifically indexing those URLs. Thomas, there's always reviews. There's always, we always record everything, always. And everything that's replayed is always here, always. See, replay, upcoming. It's always there. Gordon, another question. I have a build that is sold, been out there for a couple of weeks now. I want to go back to my rank tracker and upload any newly ranking URLs to the existing campaigns for the client. Rank trackers don't track URLs, they track keywords, right? So I mean, it's not like you go to a rank tracker and you specify a URL and you say, show me every keyword that's ranking for this URL. That's kind of not how rank trackers work. You say, here's my keyword, here's my domain, what pages on my domain are ranking for that keyword? So it looks like you've kind of got it a little bit backwards. I'm just getting to the part where you guys were all telling me that my sound was cutting up. The Moto theme, guys, that we mailed about is just a theme to make this site look nicer. So for instance, for anyone that's not choosing to overlay, but you're actually building more like legitimate sites that you want to look nice and trying to like do something with those, whether it be AdSense or affiliate or stuff, Moto is a great theme for that. It's a new theme that came out and we know the developer, and it's a really, really good one. Ryan, he said, can you give a few pointers on how to clearly differentiate between make keywords and LSI keywords for tags? the video that or the rewatch this training at the start, because what I covered with Google Keyword Tool Planner is how I differentiate the lists, okay? Because I have my main keywords, my tags, and then basically my image keywords, okay? And my main keywords are the ones I care about the most, then tags are second. So rewatch this webinar near the front where the question was asked how to do keyword research, because I just covered that in quite a bit of detail. Gordon, any advice on local niches? Newbie. I guess just be more specific with your question. I'm not even sure what advice you want. Lee, can you show us how to do an overlay for an entire site? It's Stephen answered that, but I want to cover it again. If you want to overlay an entire site, guys, actually I'll just show you in local supremacy. Okay, so asset is Fast Shoots Pro. Say I wanted to overlay the entire thing. I grab the URL. Okay, and the format is I'd have to put in a wildcard. So I put comma star backslash. Sorry. Yeah, no, that's right, Steven? No, it's not. It's backwards. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, that was backwards. There. Star, comma, slash.
This little format, guys, the URL with the star, comma, slash, is a wildcard that means every page that's on the site will be overlaid.
And also maybe good for everybody to hear, I've answered this question I think 2 times in the chat right now. If you're doing affiliate builds, then always use overlay. Never overlay plus, okay? Yes, exactly. Yeah, screenshot that, everybody. Print it next to your computer.
John, Pro Rank Tracker has the rankings discovery tab, which shows your keywords you're ranking for that aren't being tracked. Yes, that's true. Yeah, it goes out and searches other keywords and tells you what you're ranking for, but it does tell you the URL. But the sad thing about rank trackers, guys, is it's not like you can specify a specific URL and say, show me the keywords that I'm ranking for this. What John's saying is Pro Rank Tracker does have a similar feature for that, but it's not quite that specific. It's domain based, right? It's what domain and URL is ranking for these keywords, not what is this specific URL ranking for. Checked. Built my first site having an issue with categories. It seems to pick up a keyword after category even though my build page looks exactly like the one in the training. Okay, so in your builder, here's what's happening. If your category is picking up a keyword, and it depends, you're saying it picks up a keyword, but you're not saying where it picks up a keyword. There's 2 places that it can possibly pick up a keyword. Okay, right here's your category template. So you have a title, which is going to be your page title, and this is going to be your page or category URL. If you have the short code keyword in either of these, it will go in because you told it to go in, right? You don't want it in the URL though. You do want it in the title, however. This right here is the proper setup for, well, I shouldn't say proper, it's an optimal, not the optimal, it's an optimal setup for your URL and your title. Lee, submit a support ticket. because you are definitely doing something wrong. I mean, I've done it 100 times. It works every time. So if it's not working, it's something that's going on. You also might have HTTPS set up in your site. We don't know that kind of stuff. So we would need a more detailed look for sure. Jane says, when you add your Google Keyword Planner word to a campaign and then bid 999, you are in the first position for all keywords. At that point, the impressions column should let you know the exact number of searches. James, you should post that tip in detail in the group for people if that works, because that's a good one. Joseph, you have URLs indexing with tag in the URL on the Facebook group. I saw that people said it was fine, but I'm assuming the tags were supposed to be replaced with the keywords on the tag. Tag is just part of the URL, guys. That's WordPress. That's WordPress 101 stuff, like the basics of WordPress. Okay, when you build a tag, let's go to this site. Okay, there's two places you're going to see that. You're going to see one's for tags and another one's going to be for categories. Why is it? I just turned that off. Okay, so for instance, if I go into a category, okay, notice it says category. That's just WordPress. WordPress always does that. Now, if I go into a post and I click on one of the tags, it says tag. But that's WordPress. It's always been that way. If you want to change those, we've covered this quite a bit as well. The place to do that is right here in permalinks. Okay, so settings, permalinks. If you change your category base to another different word, a lot of guys are using locations, tags, maybe they're using near me or stuff like that. That will change the word tag to whatever you supply here, and this will change the word category to whatever you supply here. So don't be afraid of it. I never touch these, by the way. I just leave it as tag and category because that's a WordPress default. It doesn't hurt you at all. Gordon, isn't the idea of using Google for keywords that it is Google driven? What other software keywords would you recommend other than, or rather, can you go over the keyword metrics that make a decent market? You're a little bit overthinking it there, Gordon. You're not, okay, we're tracking and ranking for thousands of keywords. Like every time I upload a thing, it's thousands of keywords. So I'm not, you don't need to overanalyze, thousands of keywords. You just need to know the general market you're in, the general keywords that you're in, the general market that you're in, and just build a big old site. Just build a big old site and start ranking for a bunch of long tail stuffs. Now, if you want to really hone in and get really specific with your keyword research, these are the keywords that I really want to rank for, go ahead and do that, and then choose the pages to optimize for those specific keywords and start building links. But generally on these builds, you do not need to, like what I just did for my keyword research that I just showed earlier in the webinar is what I do. And that, look how, I don't even, like I'm not even looking at numbers basically, it's just like a pattern, you know what I mean? I just do it real, tick, 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 done. You can do more keyword research, obviously, deeper levels of keyword research. I just don't feel that it's fully necessary when you're building. And Jason's also had some good webinars of talking about like Google Trend keywords and stuff like that. That hopefully will somebody will find it and post the time in the Webby that we covered that in because it was pretty cool. I think that anybody that hasn't watched any of these replays, I know sometimes it's kind of, you don't want to sit here and watch 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 hours of video. Just when you got a bit of time though, instead of watching a movie or instead of watching a TV show, put on a training replay. Like there's so many tips in all these replays that cover so many things. You're never going to be like feeling like it was a waste of your time, to watch a replay. And really, if anything, watching a movie is a waste of time. It's just entertainment. Even if you don't learn anything in these, which I don't imagine you'll not learn something from watching a replay, it'll reinforce what you already know, or you'll maybe understand it on a deeper level. So guys, watch these replays. I mean, we record them and we replay them for a reason. You know what I mean? There's so much good info in there, and I think you guys, I think a lot of people are not doing this still. Based on some of the questions that I get, I just really feel like people should be watching those replays. It's so beneficial.
We should make watching the replays obligatory or something, like you have to watch this before you can download the plugin.
Yeah.
But that's actually a super good point, guys. Watching TV is like such a huge waste of time. If you are here, that means you want to run a business, right? Businesses don't run themselves. Business people like Herc, Todd, and myself, and Jason, we all work 60 hours a week, if not more. So if you're not willing to put in the time, this is not click, get rich quick scheme bullshit. This is a real business here. So, you know, change your mindset about that and try learning every day. There's a whole bunch of people in the group that are doing an absolute amazing job, like Jeremiah, Natalie, and many, many, many more. And they're just putting in the effort, and that's the reason, that's the secret sauce why they're having success.
Eric, why isn't there an option in SERPtech to generate all page variations for geo plus keyword? It makes it kind of a hit and miss for which keywords are targeted. I'd rather target them all. There is an option. Switch your keywords and your tags. If a client asks for specific keywords, the only way you can do it is limited. If a client asks for specific keywords, Eric, you can go back and do a post and edit the SEO for that page and build backlinks to it as well. Like right here. Okay, I could open up any one of these posts, right? And if there's a specific keyword that you need to cover, well then just pick the post that's most relevant maybe to the town that he's in, come in, manually add a few tags for keywords that you want, and change up your content to go for that keyword, and even change up your title, change up your URL if you need to, and then use these elements. Like this is still SEO, guys. It's still like, you know, it's still within your control. But to answer your question, Eric, why doesn't it do it that way? Because other softwares have done it that way and have failed. We do it a different way and have succeeded. I think it's a matter, guys. Like a lot of people, I think the more successful people with these builds, what's happened is they really understand the whole concept of SERPtech and what it's doing. Like they know the software, okay? They know the software inside and out. They know how the URLs get structured. They know how the pages get built. They know how the keywords multiply or the tags multiply. They know it through experience of building the sites, and that's how I know it. They know it because they built and they built and they built. Then when they want to get creative, they know exactly what to do in order to get creative because they understand it, right? So they can come in and change the URL title or tag, or like people are doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But building, guys, is the way to expertise. Like build a lot, learn it, and then you can tweak. It is so flexible, guys. Even though you think that there's certain limitations here and there really isn't. There's so many options for you guys to change things, to do things the way you want, to be very, very flexible.
I see another question about SSL, if that poses a problem. So for everybody that's still on the doubts on that, we've been going over this a few times already before, but I can repeat it. SSL is not a problem, however, it does form a limitation. So that means in terms of overlaying websites, if you have an SSL website, you can only overlay an other SSL website. You cannot mix from SSL to non-SSL. So from a non-SSL, you can overlay an SSL website. Yeah, exactly. So I hope that's clear. It's just the way how the internet works, guys. This is not something, a limitation of our software or whatever. This is just like a basic rule of the whole internet. So you kind of have to do it with that.
You guys want the safe thing? Build non-SSL. When you're starting your SERPtech site, don't install SSL certificates. and then you can overlay non-SSL or SSL. If you're really worried about security, then okay, fine, but know your limitations, right? Choices. There's always, once again, do we record our webinars and where can I find them? It blows my mind how much we get this question. Okay, yes, we record all our webinars. They are in your SERPtech members area under the replays for training webinars. Moto Themes is just cool, Karen, because it has so many pre-built themes that you can use for like doctor, lawyer, you know, stuff like that. It's just got so many, and it's a really slick theme. Dan, in the CSV, do you need to put the state on the first two lines? No. It's just a practice that I do. Remember, okay, this is once again fundamental understanding of the builder and how it works. Covered in other webinars again. And I will keep saying that, guys, because I know that you're probably getting sick of me saying we covered this already, but I'm going to keep saying it, unfortunately, because I want you guys watching those replays, okay? So if I keep asked the same questions, I'm going to keep giving the same answers. But here, I'll show you again. Okay, let me get it straight in my head what I'm doing here. Okay, so say a Phoenix Shoots Pro site, GeoPhoenix. I think this one's only one. This is a really good example. Okay. So this is what you're asking about. Why is it repeated twice? Okay. It doesn't even matter why it's repeated twice. What matters, this row in blue is going to be your category pages. Everything else is going to be posts. That's all that really matters. And if you understand that, then what does that mean? What does this mean? What is this row going to be? Right? It's going to be a post for Pennsylvania. This is going to be a category for Pennsylvania. Why do I want to post and a category for Pennsylvania? Because Jason told me to do it, and I basically have done it ever since. Ryan, how long do you give it before you determine whether a build is a success or a failure before making a decision whether a rebuild is necessary? 3 weeks or more. Also, does a rebuild damage the ability? That depends on the person, I guess, Ryan. I typically, what I've been seeing lately is I'm building sites, and within 10 minutes, they're ranking and doing amazing. Now, I've seen people say stuff takes a week. 3 weeks, though, if you haven't seen something after 3 weeks, yeah, I would even say if you haven't seen something after a few days, 4 or 5 days, I would just rebuild it. And no, it doesn't matter if you rebuild it. It's never gonna, I mean, if it's not ranked, who gives a shit about damaging something that's not there anyways? Just rebuild it or build a new site. Remember, once this is built and is it set and forget, no more adding posts or syndicating an RSS into. You can do whatever you want. You can add more categories with posts. Okay, you can't add more posts to a category, but you can add more categories with posts. If you want to build an RSS feed into it, go ahead. Are you doing more than you need to? Probably. But it is a WordPress site, guys. It does everything WordPress does, right? So, I mean, you could put 100 plugins on it that all have trinkets and bells and whistles, and you can do all kinds of stuff. It's up to you.
Also a nice reminder, Gordon is saying, like, I think I am my worst enemy, always trying to make things perfect, before I move to the next step, and it's so true, guys. Perfection is the biggest enemy of progress. So if something doesn't go right with your build, you know, just chuck it away. You can kill it completely or just leave it be for a while. You know, maybe you get back to it after a month and then all of a sudden it does go up. I've seen actually a few posts in the group saying doing just that. But you know, if something goes wrong, move over to the next. It's 50 cents and 20 minutes of your time. So really, don't try to be perfect.
You know, the other point to that too, because I really do understand perfectionism. I try to be, I'm like crazy about trying to get things just right, just right. But the funny thing about that is perfection, how do you become perfect at something? Repetition, right? Repetition is the quickest way to perfection. Athletes are good at what they do because they've done it 10,000 times. So you want to build a perfect site, build 1,000 sites. You know, your 1,000th site is going to be 1,000 times better than your first one. It's going to be perfect. So keep building, definitely keep building, keep improving on your skills. Don't worry too much about making one perfect. Repeat and build. That's how you're going to get better, not by focusing on one. When I add a list of new URLs into local supremacy, will it check for duplicates and not upload any URLs from a new list that are already included in the campaign? Steven, you answered him, but you want to answer that question for everyone out loud? I'm not even sure quite what he's asking there.
What was that? I don't remember. I think you're a little bit behind on me on the question, so I have no idea which one you're talking about.
His question is, when I add a list of new URLs into local supremacy, will it check for duplicates and not upload any URLs from my new list that are already included in the campaign?
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, it's just asking, like, probably when you already have an asset and you have already some URLs in your asset in local supremacy, and you add a whole list of new URLs to your asset, and when you upload or insert them, whatever you want to call it, if the system checks for duplicates, for duplicate URLs. It does. The system does check for duplicates and will just ignore all the duplicates. However, if you are combining just full URLs with wildcard URLs, the system is not able to check that. So if you have double URLs that fall under a wildcard URLs, the system will trip, obviously, and you need to make sure that doesn't happen. So that basically just comes down to the pinned post in the Facebook group for local supremacy. It shouldn't even be necessary for you to add new URLs to an existing asset, because you need to plan this stuff in advance. Even before you start building, well, when you're practicing, just build away and do whatever, you know. But if you're really building to start renting out websites, you really need to plan in advance as to how you're going to rent out the website. Think about your customers first, right? So what will serve your intended customers best, and how are you going to build up the structure of your website?
Like this, for instance. This URL would have no business being there anyways, right?
Yeah, correct.
Because you've already said anything with plumber in it gets included in this URL. So the fact that this has plumber in it and you put that in as a second URL,
that's not completely correct. The plumber part is an existing page, remember? In your example, yeah, it will be plumber. Like in the above one could be, like right now in your example, the first line is basically the whole website, right? So the star means the whole website. So if you would do slash star dash plumber on the first line, for example, yeah, then anything before plumber would be included. So actually these two can be combined, but if you would put the star after plumber, then there would be a conflict. I hope that's clear. Yeah, in that case, what you're showing right now, that would be a conflict, because, you know, it says plumber star, anything that comes after plumber, and in the second URL right there, that is an example of where some text comes after plumber.
Even this?
Yeah, even that, yeah. Plumbering, that's a funny word, actually.
The keywords tab, guys, I would ignore it in SERPtech. in your builder, and probably everyone by now has already noticed that we have keywords, and static keyword. There is a description for what each thing is, but this one, keywords, a comma separated list of all keywords in the CSV file. I don't know why you'd want a whole list of all your keywords on any of your pages, personally. I haven't seen it yet. This is what we typically use, keyword, and then what static keyword is that if you want, it's really helpful in post to control, you know, something like this, so that if it pulls a random keyword, so for instance, if it pulled like, you know, basement plumber, it would be basement plumber here, and basement plumber here, because you have the word static. So whatever it pulls first, it continues on throughout. Whereas if you had keyword, 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 this one might be basement plumber, this one might be toilet plumber, and this one might be outdoor plumber. So they would be different keywords from your list. Static keeps them all the same. So those are the only two that are really of any use that I know of right now. Keyword and static. Keywords, don't even use it. Yeah, Philip. Okay, Philip just made. Okay, so I'm still, guys. Like, your questions are way ahead of where I am, so I'm actually revisiting old topics here and watching comments on what I've said. Your guys' comments on what I said earlier. Philip just said something that really makes a lot of sense. Somebody asked a question about the tags when I was talking about reversing the tags list with the keywords list. Philip said just build 2 sites and reverse those 2, and he's absolutely right about that. That's so brilliant. I never even thought of that, to be honest, because it's so simple, like, but it's so awesome. Yeah, if you really want to rank for everything, build 2 sites and reverse. One site has your tags, where the tags are, and your keywords where the keywords are, and then on the second build, reverse those 2 lists, and now you have 2 sites, but you're literally ranking for like every keyword. Great idea, Phil. Thank you.
A question here from Lily. Can you overlay a site that does not allow frames? Yeah, this is, I kind of mentioned it before. If a site gives you issues, mostly the system will give you an error with x-frame-options. If you see that, you use overlay plus. So that's one of the situations. That's one of the situations where you would use overlay plus instead of a normal overlay. And Johnny's saying here, anecdotal info, took me about 6 builds before I had a complete grasp and started experimenting. So there you go.
Yeah, I think until you like follow the OTS series videos and you get it right, okay, like in the graduation cap here, SERPtech training, we have OTS build and OTS build 2. Basically the difference between these is this one's targeting multiple cities under multiple states, and this one's just targeting a single city in the suburbs. That's the difference between the two. Until you guys have watched and mastered these 2 videos with your own build, I don't think you should be trying to get very fancy or creative, because these are teaching core concepts. These are teaching the very, very basic fundamentals of the SERPtech builder. And until you've ranked a site using one of these 2, changing things up too much from these is, I don't think, going to help out. I think you need to understand the core fundamentals first. I truly believe that'll help a lot of people that are having issues.
Yeah, I don't know. This is maybe me speaking before I should, but Dave, and I've seen a few other people mention this quite a bit actually. Just people asking about annotations of all the webinars and stuff like that. And I've answered in the question box a few times as well. It's just so much work to do for us. It's really hard to do that. But Natalie, the superheroine, has been doing that quite well, and she's been uploading those files to the Facebook group. And we are talking. We're not 100% sure yet. That's me just maybe talking before I should. But we might have an idea of maybe create like a wiki situation inside of SERPtech, where everybody can just kind of add information as to this has been set at this time of this particular webinar, so we can kind of get crowdsource the annotations of the webinars using a wiki-like system. But we'll have to look at that if that's viable at all.
Yeah, the other option was to hire someone to come in and transcribe all the videos, and then have them timeline it out as well, so that we can add it either to the YouTube videos, because you can add timelines and descriptions of YouTube videos, and they're clickable to the point in the video, or we can just add, or in additionally add the timelines into the training. It's just, guys, you got to understand how much work we do here. So much between the webinars and everything that we do to run the business and build the software and support the software. I know how helpful it would be. I honestly know how helpful it would be to you guys if you went to this replay and there was an index that showed you everything that was there and the times that it was there. But the hard part about that is it's so much extra work for us. So we'll have to. We are especially the more replays we get, we are going to do something though. We will do something. You just have to give us a bit of time. Eric, I kind of want to cover this question. I see that it was already answered, but does having more index pages for low volume keywords improve overall ranking performance? And Todd answered that no, but I'm not exactly sure what his thought process was there, and maybe he'll chirp in. But in my experience, yes, actually, you can rank for harder keywords by having more lower, longer tail keywords and content ranking. So yes, in my opinion, it does help overall.
Yeah, I misread that question, Herc. I went back and I misread it, and then I went back and re-answered it later on.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, and what I told him was one of the things that I see is that, yeah, the more pages that you have indexed means that Google has picked up on them. And as you know how SERPtech builds work, there's a lot of internal linking going on. So it will pass some juice from page to page to page, and it'll also pick up more pages to be indexed and to get ready to rank. So indeed, it helps.
A couple tool suggestions here, guys, probably back from those prior comments. Anna says SpyFu is maybe something that you want to look at for finding keywords and URLs that you're trying to rank for. And then Simon also said SEMrush and Ahrefs will also find keywords for you, kind of like the keyword discovery in ProRank Tracker, which I'm pretty sure they're using an SEMrush API or Ahrefs API. Anyone that wants that Moto theme that we're talking about, here's the link. I think it was the Moto theme. It would be clever if it was, right?
And it's probably not.
Yeah, this is it. Okay, so I'll put this in the chat box. You guys can check that out.
I want to mention, Hurt just a second. I wanted to mention about that. I see a lot of people asking, which Moto theme is best to use for a SERPtech layout, and that's not really the point of what Moto theme is. Moto theme is going to help you build right there target sites, money sites, the sites that you overlay. These are pre-built. Now you obviously need to edit them a little bit. If you have a client that wants leads, phone calls for a particular niche, then it might be in here. There are literally tons of various niches in here. And what I see is that you take this type of site and you put a tracking number on it, and you put an email form on it, and you send those to your client, and it's much easier to track. You don't have to deal with the client's website or anything like that. It just can be used in so many different ways, but these themes are to be used as your overlay, as your targets, as your money sites, not to be used for a SERPtech build. Now, that doesn't mean there's not something in there that might work, but you would have to go out and do your own experimenting and testing with that.
Yeah, I have a comment on that one too. I think that, okay, so say someone like, for this instance, this Moto theme is about, I forget what it was already. It was like moving company. So say you guys build a moving company WordPress or SERPtech site. One of the ways to use a Moto theme, like Todd is saying, is have that be your overlay with your client's call tracking number on it so that you're overlaying a really nice site. The other way that you possibly could do it, but you would have to check it, is you could put this on your SERPtech build and see if it still has the right linking structure and shit like that the other ones do. You'd have to test that. And it will look nicer for when if you hang that for rent sign. So that's possibly another way you could use these themes as well. It's
It would
just
be nice.
flexible, right?
Yeah, it would be if that works, if it works for the ranking and the correct structure, which I have my doubts on, obviously, because of the silo structure is incredibly important for the SERPtech builds. But if it does, like it would combine very nicely with the skinning feature for local supremacy.
Yeah, I'll do some testing myself and I'll report.
Yeah,
Back how it links. I think it would be fine, to be honest. And all you'd have to do, guys, like because like you're right, Stephen, the interlinking structure is super, super important. But I mean, there's nothing that says that you can't drag in a widget with an internal or menu, right? Or supply like a list of posts. Like just all you have to do is mimic what's happening with the WordPress 2015 theme or 16 theme, because this is what I'm loving about these ones. This right here, right? And then the tags on the posts. So if you can mimic it, then you should be able to achieve the same result. And I'm sure that these are flexible enough to do that. But I will test that. Otherwise, if you want to be safe, use it like Todd said. Use this as overlay to this.
Right. I just want to be clear. I don't want to hear next week that, hey, I used a Moto theme on a SERPtech build and it won't rank. I want to be clear. We do not know any of that at this point. Now, everything that Herc just said is absolutely true. May or may not. What the main point of a Moto theme is first of all, there's tons of ideas here. Someone even asked earlier, what's a good local niche? I don't know. There's a ton here you can test for 88 cents, and then build out, and then install one of these themes onto another domain and overlay to it, and you have a pretty damn good site already designed for you. With a few edits, you're up and running.
I'll put one of
phone
these
numbers on it.
100 photo sites that I have.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this puts you in business immediately. Change the phone number to a tracking number. Change the email submit forms. There's some lead gen sites inside here as well. And change that stuff up so that you're starting to accept the phone calls. Put them to your cell phone and start seeing if you get calls. Point the email to your email. See if you get emails, and then when that stuff starts happening, then boom, all you have to do is redirect that to someone willing to pay you for it.
That's a great point too, Todd, and that's actually what I did with my my other builds, like the pool resurfacing one. That thing's still getting calls to this day, and people ask me, like, why isn't it for sale? Number one, the reason it isn't for sale is because I built it as a demo, and I'm demoing it, and people, it's all over the internet now that this site is like, here's how we did this and that, and I would never want a client to see that sort of shit. But the point of what I did with the phone calls is I just set it up in my call tracking to go straight to voicemail. Like I recorded a semi-professional, hi, this is, poolresurfacingphoenix.com. We're currently unavailable to take your call. Please leave us a detailed message and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. But I sent everyone to voicemail. But at least I'm collecting the data so that if I ever do want to sell something, you know what I mean, I have all that data at my fingertips to do it with. I could go to a client and be like, look, I got like 13 calls last week, or whatever. So good points there too. Oh. Sorry guys, I'm still catching way up to all your questions. I'm way behind.
Bruce,
I'm not even at 3 p.m.
Bruce is asking, is there a local supremacy training on how to create recurring invoicing on PayPal? They don't seem to offer it on PayPal unless you sign up for some pro version. Yeah, Bruce, that's just a limitation of PayPal. You can set your PayPal to recurring to subscription in local supremacy in the settings for any asset. but you do need a business account for PayPal to make that work. So, you know, that's that. And I think a business account on PayPal is free, right, Dirk? I don't remember paying for my business account anyway. So.
Well, I don't know. I got mine so long ago, but no, I never paid for it either. It was free. Okay.
Andrew, web hosting. Well, first of all, anybody that's still trying to use HostGator, just don't, please. HostGator sucks.
And Bluehost and DreamHost, they are terrible with IonQ. Bluehost and DreamHost.
Yeah, don't ask.
Let me give you
don't
an
ask
example of why not to use why not to use HostGator. Okay, guys, this site is a big site for me. I'm a big money maker in the Bitcoin niche. I'm ranking for like tons of Bitcoin investing keywords. I got an email the other day from HostGator. By the way, we just shut off your site for you, and please contact us and we'll talk about getting it back up. This is massively bad for my site. When this shit happens, I will lose rankings.
Yeah.
I'm probably getting too much traffic.
Probably, yeah.
Yep.
So Supremacy Hosting, guys, is a good one, obviously, because it's been made for it. But there's other really good ones. I don't know, Liquid Web. I don't know. Like Todd is the expert here. I know he dislikes certain big companies that own a lot of them. I don't even remember the name. But I know if you ask Todd, he's going to go on a rant, and 1.5 hours we're still not done. So let's not do that. But you know, Supremacy Hosting is definitely a good one, and there's definitely a few other ones that are good. But you know, if you pay peanuts, you get peanuts, right? So just remember that.
Bruce, I thought the URL count was keywords times tags times images. When you, it is. It's the same number as what I added up. Okay. When I showed you those numbers, I mean, you can get at those numbers by adding 2 plus 3 or 3 plus 2. It doesn't matter how you add it up. It's still the same. Okay. These three numbers are the total URLs that are available to be indexed, and the way to get these is that multiplication that I did. So it's still the same answer. But if you want a quick way without multiplying, here it is right here in your indexer.
This may be for you, Herc. When you build a second category, does it know not to create another home page? Or is the home page created during the priming? Does the second category tie back to the original home page?
I've never built a second category, first of all, so I can't really answer that. I do know that there is the issue with the site building a second home page. So what I do, guys, is I always deselect this when I'm priming my site to get rid of that second home page. Now, when you're adding a new category, will it build another home page? I don't really know, to be honest, because I haven't built another category yet. Because I always kind of just plan my sites out in advance, and I don't really ever revisit anything. So I don't know. I guess when you do that, let me know what happens in the group, or let the group members know. And Jason is aware of the second homepage issue as well, and I'm sure that will be fixed. Where can you find the members if you're not a SERPtech member yet? The webinars? No. If you're not a SERPtech member yet, you will not have access to these replays. You might come on live, but you will not have access to the replays, that's for sure. How are they registering for the webinar without seeing the replays? Well, man, I don't even know, to be honest. We mail the SERPtech list for replays, but people talk about it in the group. We're never really sure how people are getting on our webinars. There's a lot of cross-contamination between a lot of products as well as emails going all over the place. So we don't know. Sometimes people make it on, sometimes they don't, but we definitely know that only members are in the SERPtech members area. Definitely know that part. That's controllable. Dominic, in supremacy hosting, what's the subdomain limit? It's listed on the sales page.
I want to make another point for some of you that are new. Whenever you build a SERPtech site, you're going to get, typically it happens like this, you get a lot of index pages quickly, and then a lot of them go away, and then a lot of them come back, and so forth and so on. So just know that that's normal before you ask about it or post about it. It just happens all the time. I recall, I think it was a week and a half ago, Herc, where we were looking at one site with I think 500 number ones, and Google said there was only 36 indexed pages. So sometimes take that number with a grain of salt. Don't panic. It's all normal, and it's all good.
Yeah, 36 pages ranking for 500 keywords means, like, 50 keywords a page.
That's Google math for you right there.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely possible.
Yeah, Dagoberto Rodriguez, cool name. He's asking, what about having all keywords on both tags and keywords? Well, I think. Yeah, exactly. Go ahead.
No. If you have the same keywords in your tags as you do in your URLs, you just defeated the purpose of targeting more keywords. You're over-optimizing the heck out of your blogs, and you're not watching the over-shoulder training. No, do not use the same keywords in tags, and that's a definite no. Don't do that.
Here's a good one, Hart. It seems that many rank sites use the keyword Best Barber Miami, for example. If that's true, how do we add the modifier best, finest?
Add it in your keywords.
What about in your tags?
Add it in your tags.
Tag modifier, show them that.
Okay. Well, tag modifier is a middle word, not a first or second word. So in your builder, so your tag modifier right here is in. So the way tags kind of build out is it's always going to be around one of your keywords from your tag list. So let me kind of call this tag dot keyword. Okay, so a tag keyword, and then your modifier in. Okay, and then your location. So that's I always like to really illustrate the shit out of this. Here's our tags. Here's one of my tags list. Let me open this up for you guys. Okay. So if my modifier, this is actually a great way to do this. Let me insert a row here. So this is my tag keyword, right? This is my modifier. And then I'm going to have a location, even though that's not spelled right. So the modifier you can set. Okay, so this tag will be hire photographer in Phoenix, and then it'll be hire photographer in Tempe, and hire photographer in Mesa, and hire photographer in blah, blah, blah. You get the point. Now, what you can change is you can change your tag keyword to whatever you want. So I could add the word best here if I wanted to. Or I wouldn't do that. Hire maybe best photographer, so it would sound like I'm actually English, or actually speak English. Okay, so you can change it there. The modifier you can change right here. So you can change this to in, on, for, whatever. You can change it to best if you want. I mean, you change it to whatever you want. But that's how you change the modifier. Okay, and then the location is just the location. The tags will go to every location. So best. I mean, you could put, like, really, guys, if you've ever watched one of the project planner webinars, those are kind of words that you don't really want to rank ultimately. So let's say it was like best plumber Phoenix. You'd rather rank for plumber Phoenix than best plumber Phoenix, in my opinion. You know what I mean? You're going to get more traffic and more shit like that. Adding the word best or top or stuff like that, is just you're also trying to rank for best plumber Phoenix as well as plumber Phoenix. So you're adding those modifiers to pick up those extra words. So you could really, if you wanted to, do those anywhere in your title or in your URL, not in your URL, I wouldn't do it there. I do it in your title or in your content, adding those extra modified words. Like if you guys have ever seen me build in my posts, I'm always doing stuff like this for my first H2. I'll do like find, or not find, we are the best, you know, keyword in posting. Okay, so I'll take that sort of thing, and then I'll make it an H2, some buried into my content, right? Because then it's changing for every location, so it's becoming a variable sentence, but it's still including that word in an H2, which Google will pick up on, right? So you can
basically LSIs, creating an LSI, yeah.
And then so there's creative ways to do that. So there's kind of a couple options. One is just put it in your tagged word. Like really, you could put best or top into all of these, and you can still rank for baby in Portrait Studio. I never really do that. Is where I'm tagging those words is more like in the content. But there's lots of options. You can do it in the title, you can do it in the content, you can do it right in the keyword. There's three options for you.
Todd, this may be a question for you. With supremacy hosting, is it necessary to assign one IP per every 3 sites, or does this happen automatically?
No, you would need to go in and assign those yourself via the SEO IP manager. If you just use the search function inside of your cPanel, you'll find the icon that allows you to select the domain and then select an IP and hit change. Give it a couple of minutes and it'll reset that IP, and then you can go and create your private SERPs, your private name servers using your new IP.
All right, thank you. And here another question from Sam. Would you use SERPtech for existing client websites? Sam, no. Generally, no. It's always better to just use a new domain. They cost peanuts, so it's way safer. You can, if you really, really want to, you can do it on a subdomain, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Johnny says until week 4 he only had 1,000 index pages, and it wasn't until week 6 where 24 all of a sudden occurred. I think that relates back to how long should you wait before you call a build a failure, and how do you personally determine whether you want to call it a failure or not. Like if I had a site that had 30 index pages, you know, and there was a possible 1,000 URLs, is that a failure? No. Not at all. I mean, if it ranks at all, it's a success. Just I'd build another one. Our answer to most questions is going to be build another one, and you guys are going to see us say this again and again and again. Build another one. But that indexation comment, I wouldn't make a 0 indexation. You know, after a week is probably a failure. Build another one. But if you have a low indexation after a week, then it's a success. Just leave it, let Google do its thing and crawl through all the links and stuff like that. If you started off with like 30, drop down to 5, and then you back up to 30, and you never got above 30, maybe there's a problem with your build inside of the linking. Maybe your next post and previous post links aren't working. Maybe you didn't supply the widget sidebar with, you know, most recent posts. Check that. But even my indexations, I haven't checked them in a while. I'll show you guys. I checked them like a couple days ago, and things went absolutely bonkers. There's my SERPtech. There's my builds. So I actually was tracking day by day, and then I just got rid of it. But like here was my May 1st indexations, and here's my June 19th. That's when I checked them 2 days ago. This one doubled. This one has an extra 1,000. This one went from 1,340 to 44,000. This one's kind of maxed out, it looks like, so it's kind of hopping up and down. Same thing. This one doubled. This one went up by 500. This one went up by thousands, up to 15,000. This one tripled. So all of them are going up. All of them, all of them, all of them. And then these are newer ones that I never initially checked the indexations on, but they're doing amazing. Everything's in the thousands. So if they're indexed, you've done a good job. You've done a good job, probably, and they'll go. Does time to rank partly depend on keyword difficulty? Absolutely. I have sites in business services which take 2 weeks and then start blossoming with page ones. Yeah, keyword difficulty is definitely a ranking factor, 100%. So that's another thing too, is like we've always said, you guys, these sites kind of, it's like wine, you know, like how they say wine gets better with over time and stuff like that. And when Todd was talking about my site where we had like some like 500 ridiculous amount of keywords on 30 indexed pages, as Google is indexing more and more pages, they're building more relevancy. They're building more internal linking. Google's understanding more what they are about. They're seeing more silo. Your rankings are going to be affected by your indexations going up in a good way. If Google's indexing more pages, they're getting a better picture. They're getting a better understanding. They're getting more internal link URLs and all that stuff. All that stuff over time will result in more rankings. Now, you can improve your rankings by not touching your site. Am I saying that's all you need to do? And I want to stress this so hard, you guys. And I've said this on literally every sales webinar. We're not expecting to take these sites and rank for the hardest keywords in the biggest cities in the world. That's just retarded to think that. But you can build a site, rank for a ton of stuff, start getting traffic to those, and then do SEO to your sites. You've always had to do your SEO to your sites. Nothing has changed there to rank for harder keywords. You just are doing it now with a better site that Google likes more, that's already getting traffic and already getting rankings. It's an easier job, right? It's an easier job is what I'm saying. But kind of going on a rant a little bit, yes, your sites will index more and more pages. More and more pages. Indexing will mean more and more understanding, better rankings, stuff like that. And it just is, it's all good.
So Zach was asking a good question. I think that would be helpful for everybody. He's basically asking what's the difference between a money site and a SERPtech site. So this is kind of a difference between the model, right? So it kind of goes back to the Moto themes, what we've been talking about earlier, what Herc and I think Todd said the same thing, using it for money sites. So there's two different levels of business models inside of SERPlease basically. So the first one is just you rent out your website, and that basically means that the person who is renting your website needs to worry about capturing the leads, and then once they're captured, then converting them into sales for them, because that's the end goal, right? So what you can also do is you capturing the leads for them and then sending them off or directly or instantly or with a little delay, that doesn't really matter, to your clients. And that just means you can charge more because you do that extra step. Then you also take the role as a lead capture expert, and that just means you can charge more. So that those are two different kinds of business models. You need to, again, plan ahead for when you're building out your websites.
I think the word money site has taken on like a couple different meanings now as well. Like traditionally, at least for me anyways, a money site always meant a site that I built to earn commissions from, whether it be AdSense commissions, affiliate commissions, or lead gen commissions. But now with SERPtech, now that this has come along, they kind of are money sites in a sense, that you're building them to earn commissions from, but it's kind of an indirect, it's almost like a middle money site, like, or number one, I don't even know how to put it. But what Steven's saying is all true, but like SERPtech is like the traffic, it pushes traffic to the money site. Now, typically you're in control of a money site, but with SERPtech, if you rent out the leads or you sell the leads or you overlay it, you know what I mean? You're not in control of the property that you're overlaying. Likely it's just a business is like, okay, I want my site to show up instead of, I want to overlay my site onto yours. You're still not in control of that site, so your SERPtech site is in that sense the money site, but it's pushing traffic to the actual generation site. So it's a loose term. The point is the word money site is kind of a loose term. I would just call SERPtech sites. They're traffic. They're meant to push traffic. They're not really a money site. Things are changing. Things have changed. SERPtech's changing a lot of things. It's pretty nuts. Joseph, when you're doing keyword research in Google AdWords, do you want to type in keyword plus location or just keyword? Just keyword. Remember, locations, you specified locations. So in AdWords, you're not worried about, you know, the search volume for, you know, a plumber in Edmonton. You're just worried about the search volume for a plumber or the competition for a plumber. You're just looking at very general keywords because you're going to add the locations to them based on the file that you build. Hey, Ben from Melbourne. That came in over 30 minutes ago, and I'm just seeing your message now. Yeah, Karen, message us about those tutorial videos. Love to see what you've done.
Ben is, I'm not sure if maybe you understand this, Herc. Ben is asking, oh, I have a question. I have noticed that my money site overlay is showing live page view via analytics. Does this affect the bounce rate on my SERPtech site, and will this possibly affect the rank of my SERP build? Ben, does that mean you've installed Google Analytics? Because if you have, then you should remove it.
Yeah, which one's the money site? The SERPtech. Let's call SERPtech sites from now on, just for clarification for everybody. Okay, SERPtech sites are SERPtech sites. What you're overlaying can be whatever else you want. Money sites. It'll just help us all have the same language. Don't call a SERPtech site a money site, because if you say, hey, how do I do this to my money site? I won't be sure if you need the overlay or the SERPtech site. So I'm not even like, I'd need more info on that question, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, the old question, which extension to use? Guys, the extension doesn't mean that much. Like, yeah, so the XYZ extension was kind of spam to that. So we say with a note like, yeah, like we think it's not that great, but I'm sure you can still manage it. It's the same thing with .info, was at some point really not recommended at all, but you know, I know Jason has a few .info websites doing very, very well, so it really doesn't matter that much.
Does a little bit. Not to like completely say the opposite at the end, but like .xyz's and .infos, yeah, they're just such spammy. You know, okay, put it this way, guys. If spammers use them, then you're not going to do that great with them. Even though Jason has one that's doing good. I would just, like, there's always the, what do you call that, the exception to the rule. Right?
Yeah, the confirms the rule, I think it is. The exception that confirms the rule.
Jason's probably the best SERPtech builder there is, guys. Remember that. He created it. On one thing that Jason and I caught on to early on, if you want two .pros and .onlines, I have also used .men, like garagedoor.men, and had success with that. But I mean, really, there's so many of them, and the type of brand names that we're using, guys, now, like I'm using airport codes and shit like that, like, and one I did like PHAZ, which stood for Phoenix, Arizona. Like, I'm just coming up with the most crazy brand names now. It doesn't matter, you'll find something, even in the .com if you're stuck on .coms.
Joe's actually sharing a nice tip here. In the SERPtech group files, there's a text file called SEO_markets.txt for a niche ID. So I think I saw a few people, at least one or two, asking for that as a newbie question. So guys, just go into the group, to the file section, and find the SEO_markets.txt, and you get some inspiration there. And also, I haven't mentioned it much lately, but I have mentioned it a lot in the very beginning. The opportunity in foreign language markets is so incredibly huge. So keep that in mind. Truly, it's really, really big.
Hey, Herc.
Yeah.
Question down here. I'm not quite sure this. We were working on this a while back, but the The webinar that we did for the project planner a few months ago, is that actually inside the?
It's in the V2 members area. It's also in the V3 plugin side. So any sites that have V3 installed on them, I'll show it.
Yeah, I think that's what I was going to say. I just want to confirm.
What has V3 installed?
The question was for Diane.
I mean, it's just let's do. Well, I don't even know if I'll be able to log into this one anymore since HostGator shut it down on me.
No. No, I wanted to bring that question up out loud because that project planner webinar is extremely good, and using this project management tool inside of V3 is when you're planning out a money site and how to get all the data and what it means is, yeah, there you go, 58 minutes.
That's the cutoff. There's the direct link in your chat box, guys, if you want to watch what the project planner. V2 has the project planner. V3 is obviously a little nicer and got a couple more features, but it's the same principles, exact same principles. And that URL I just put in your box is
good. Thank you.
The edited one. I think it's this one. Yeah, you guys should check that out. It's an hour, but it's an hour well spent.
Lily, you don't have to wait to do overlays. He's asking how long should you wait before doing the overlay, and will the overlay affect the indexing ranking? This has been repeated many times before as well. The local supremacy system is 100% safe, so no, it will not in any way affect the indexing or the ranking. And so that means you can start overlaying directly from the very first second you're done with your build.
My only question would be, why would you want to?
Yeah, true. Because you don't have any rankings yet, so there's nothing really to show off just yet.
Or it's not sold. The only possible scenario where I could see overlaying immediately after a build would have any sort of point to it would be if, number one, yes, you did get immediate rankings, and number two, it was an affiliate offer that you were overlaying. But if it's client stuff, there's no point to overlaying until the site's sold. I would hang the for rent sign though. Or I guess no, now that I'm thinking about it, if you guys are putting that Moto theme on and you put a call tracking number on, but even still, you probably want to get some rankings first, otherwise.
Well, you could argue like maybe if you're done building your website, you overlay it with a Moto theme, like you said, and then maybe you go away for a long weekend and you don't want to wait on the results and you just want to put it on there already. You could argue with that for that case.
Yeah, I guess there's reasons. But I guess the answer to the question is yes, go ahead, do it.
Eric F is asking, can you use multiple words in the tag modifier or only one?
I believe it's only one as a singular. If you tried to, I mean, you can try it. I would definitely try it with a small build. Small builds, guys, you can do one location, like do one category, one post, and do like 3 keywords, and then execute a build to test all those little things out that you have questions about. That like either myself or Todd or Jason hasn't already done, and we don't have an answer for you. But if you're a curious type, do like a 2-location build with 3 keywords, 3 tags. Don't even worry about images, and then you can test the modifiers. But I think it's a single word, no spaces. But it's definitely a good test. Like if you want to do like in the or something, I would test that out.
Sebastian says, I love it. I just outranked the biggest competitor in my city with a SERPtech site I built 3 weeks ago.
Nice.
Okay, Jeff. Oh, Jeff already left. Can create multiple pages and menu on the SERPtech. If so, how? Chat, I think you gotta watch the training, bud. Like, you're asking pretty standard questions about the build that are all covered in the training. Creating multiple pages is creating multiple categories, and creating a menu is a WordPress. That's not really covered in SERPtech training because it's not really part of SERPtech. Creating a menu is more about WordPress, like how to create a menu in WordPress. I would Google that, but it's pretty simple. You go to Appearance and you go to Menus, and then you create a menu. You can see here's a footer menu. You can create a header menu. You can drag in pages or posts from your site. You can supply custom links, or you can use categories. But yes, the answer is yes, you can create multiple pages and menus on SERPtech. But I think you need to watch the training, man, just based on your questions.
I have a question for Karen. Karen, can you hear me? Yes, Karen. Are you in the members area of both SERPtech and Local Supremacy? Or you're in both. Can you log into both Local Supremacy and SERPtech? I have a feeling that you've never been inside of Local Supremacy. And I know you're asking a lot of questions here. Okay, so please go to our support desk at supremacy.freshdesk.com, and we need to get you sorted out because a lot of those questions that you're asking are inside Local Supremacy. Apparently you don't have that one or something. So I think once you get in there, a lot of your questions will be answered. Yes, I was wondering there for a minute. All right, cool. Hey guys, listen, we got about 10 more minutes. I've like literally tried to read every single question that's come through in the last hour. My cough has kind of subsided a little bit now, so I feel better about talking. So if you don't mind, if you have a burning question that you need answered right now, I need you to put it in the chat box now, even if you right now, get it in there, and we'll try to get it answered in the next 10 minutes, and then we're gonna shut this down because we'll be on for 2 hours, and we kind of got to keep them at 2 hours. 2 hours is pretty long anyway.
I want to cover this one question because I'm still like way behind. But Eric, and you answered it already. But Eric said, does the description need to be done as mentioned with tags, or can you put best keyword in post name call now? Does it affect ranking? Meta descriptions do affect rankings, but you can put in whatever you want. Tags works like badass, but it doesn't work great for like when you're ranking in Google. Your tags look like shit, to be honest. Your meta descriptions are just a bunch of tags, like. So it looks like shit. So what I would do, Eric, test that out. Put in your description the way you're saying. I know Jason does that because it's far better for getting click-throughs in Google, but it's a trade-off. You get more click-throughs, but you might get less rankings. So there is a balance. Great question, though.
Herc, while you're in that blog there's been a few little questions about schema and how you set that up on, fastshoots.pro. If you go on the basic simple, I mean, there's not much schema going on typically on our SERPtech builds. There's just a couple of little bitty things here that we do.
Yeah, I just add a basic brand schema. So for V2, add a new schema. You could do local business, or you could do brand. We're not really a local business site. You could say you're a local business, but I mean, really, it's just choosing the type of schema that you want, getting rid of the shit that you want, and filling in the forms. What's your website URL? What's the name of your business? Fastshoots.pro. What's the description of Fastshoots.pro? Photography in Edmonton. Do you have a logo? Supply the URL to your logo. Do you have an image? Supply the URL to an image if you don't want to have both. Get rid of price range. Map URL. I get rid of that unless you're in a single city. So for instance, if you're in Phoenix only, then you could put a map URL to Phoenix. Email of your site, if you want to supply a call tracking number on telephone, your opening hours. Schema, guys, is literally, I mean, I can't even really train on it. It's filling in a field, you know what I mean? The only thing that you might be confused about is what type of schema do I add, and I'll tell you right now, local business will work, organization will work, and brand will work for these sites. But really, guys, all it is pick the type schema, click add, open it up, fill in the fields that you want, and delete the other ones.
Yeah, I just wanted you to go over that real quickly there, just to show you guys it's not don't be intimidated by it. That's all there is to it. And remove what's not there. Just put a little bit of schema on there, and Google's going to like you that much more. One last thing about Project Supremacy, SEO settings, Herc.
Covered in the training area, so I'm not going to cover it on the webinar. Honestly, there's 2 videos, guys, right here. I'll show you where to find them. PSV2 SEO settings, PSV3 SEO settings. So we won't cover that in the webinar since they're already there.
James is asking about a plugin how to wipe out your site. I remember something being in the area, in the membership area there. Was there?
No, but if you're trying to wipe out your site, you just go to your prime site on SERPtech, and you delete all post pages and comments, and you execute it, and it deletes everything.
Okay, there you go, James.
As well as clearing your generated data like articles, images, keywords. So this one and this one will wipe out your site. Eric, yeah, V3 SEO settings, V2 SEO settings, V3, V2.
Yeah, and Eric also sent you the schema guides for V3.
V3 is basically the same, Eric, as what you just saw, except you don't build it on the site, you build it in the builder of V3. So watch the tutorial, because you have to create a group for that URL, and then you build that schema. So just watch the tutorial that's there on V3. There's a tutorial button, and every time you switch a page, it switches to the tutorial that's relevant to that particular page. I'll try and shoot more videos though for everybody on all that stuff. How long Google takes to show social media icons? I've added to schema, but maybe you mean same as markup, Chris? You're probably talking about the rich, like the company cards, like what's a good one? You know, like here, I'll just do it. Coca-Cola, right? You're talking about this, I'm assuming. And if you, so what this is built, why this happens is because obviously Coca-Cola is established as a strong brand, and they supplied schema to your site. There's the images for Coca-Cola. Here's all the schema information. How long does it take for Google to show this shit? Well, the point is that really the only time they're going to show it is when someone's like actually searching for your brand, right? And unless people know your brand, then they won't show up. Oh, mine was there for a while, now it's gone. And it's all Google. There's no timeline either. You just supply the schema, and then Google picks it up when they pick it up, and obviously takes it away when they take it away too. It's not even there for Project Supremacy yet.
All right, if anyone out there is on the call who's lurking and would like to get SERPtech and local supremacy, give me a hashtag, let me, and I'll give you a link. I don't know if there is anyone, just asking, maybe one or two. All right. Yeah, the guy that was just asking questions. All right. Sweet.
I appreciate you answering that question. I probably need to explain. I do have multiple pages, and I understand the categories, but suppose I'm building a site for car repairs. I want to have a page for American cars, another for German cars, and then also for categories. You know what, Chet? Why don't you, because it's hard to understand your full thought process of what you're trying to go after, but why don't you post it in the group? Like kind of, you know, go in the group and post your full idea of what you're going after, and we can answer you in there rather than, because I'm only reading like little bits and pieces of each of your, every time you press enter, your last comment disappears in a sea of other comments, so it's hard to keep referring back. Are you in the group, by the way? Yeah, okay, you are. Awesome.
All right, well, Herc, Jason, Stephen, I guess we're going to wrap this up now. I don't see any more burning questions that came in when I requested them. So I guess we're going to call that a wrap. What did you guys think about today's webinar? Everybody learned something? Get some questions answered? Awesome, groovy, nice. Did Herc get a new house? Helpful, yes. Freaking missed it. Sorry, guys. All right, replay will be up by tomorrow.
Where do replays go? Where
Wonderful as always. Awesome, Webby. Yes, thanks. Good stuff. Top stuff again. Karen, I know exactly why you're feeling a little confused, and that's because you haven't seen anything outside of local supremacy. And I had a feeling. So get in there and watch a couple of Stephen's videos on what overlay is all about, and then I think it'll all come together. Great, thanks, says Paul. I'm on fire, and it's your fault. Thanks, guys, says Philip. Learned how to get rid of the burning sensation, Stephen says. Yes, from Adelaide. Helpful, as they always are, from Steve Last. Thank you, Steve. 14 pages of notes again. Awesome as usual. The answer to this,
replays. Replays are always in your members area. I just don't understand how people are still asking where the replays are.
Yep, recorded in replay.
Yep, members area, replays. There you go.
Love you later. Thanks, guys. Cheers again from the UK. Thank you, Robert. I know, Joe.
SERPtech desk, Philip.
SERPtech support URL is, yeah, Philip, you know what, Philip, you had some really good questions all throughout today, and there were, you know, a little bit advanced there, so it would be cool if you could, you know, maybe get some help from the guys in the group there. I know there's a lot of other guys in the group that are kind of at your level, and, you know, also there's some questions that you asked that I think Jason only has the answer to. You know, I think the Facebook group would be really good for some of the questions that you were asking today as well.
It's Todd, Karen.
It's Todd Spears.
Yes, Karen,
it's
that's
Todd
me.
Mother effing Spears.
Yeah, I'm the one that starts the webinars and all that, and for some reason that just always puts me as that.
Well, it's because, like, if we put it as Todd Spears, it would always email out as Todd Spears.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So we kind of try to brand ourselves, and then Todd can't log in as both, so he's Mr. Supremacy Webinar.
All right, guys. Well, thank you once again for coming and hanging out with us for the last couple of hours. Thank you for all the great questions. We really, really do appreciate it. And thank you to Herc and Stephen, and we will catch you guys next week. Same time, same place. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Replay will be up tonight.